Have you ever felt that your life needed a pause? That your heart is searching for answers, but doesn't know where to start? Path of Faith, Discoveries on the Path of the Soul, is not just a book. It's a journey, a real story of overcoming challenges, faith, and transformation that will inspire you to take the next step in your life. Discover how challenges can turn into lessons and how every moment can be an opportunity to reconnect with what truly matters. This book is for those who seek more than stories. It's for those searching for purpose, inspiration, and themselves. Available exclusively on Amazon. Link in the video description. Start your journey of transformation today. Path of Faith, Discoveries on the Path of the Soul. What are you waiting for?
Think. How can I do an exorcism? No. Then I thought. But immediately I said, no, there's a way for you to do exorcism. You love. Each time you love, my friend, the devil has no time with you. The devil does not support a person who loves. The devil will be able to do absolutely nothing within the life of a person seeking goodness. Good. Partnership with the truth. The devil starts to have time and voice in our life is when we open the doors for him to sit, for him to have a coffee at our house, for him to have a little whiskey with us. Then you will open the doors. Oh, come smoking a weed. And the devil sits and smokes marijuana. Let's smell a cocaine. It's the opposite, right? I am adhering to what is breaking process inside me. This week I was there and in a premiere. I met a boy, I think is Paula's name. During the show I saw that he was all quiet like that, but I had already seen him like this because he was very close. And at the end of the show, he was already on a business. They're waving and singing. And then he asked, I understood that he wanted to talk to me. And then he went there in the dressing room to give me a hug. And he said to me like this, Father, I'm in the fight to break free from drugs. And then I hugged him and said to him, my friend, freeing yourself from drugs is the same as you will love yourself again. Because the drug is nothing but a unloving. I will judge inside me a toxin that will hurt me. I will judge inside myself a substance that will numb me. That will make me aware of things. That will move me from the people I love. But the drug addict does not see the suffering he causes. The mother who doesn't sleep, while she doesn't see her son coming home, the worst tease. She likes to come anyway. Don't sleep because you are thinking, my God, where is my son now? So, cutting with drugs is that you reestablish the love bonds you have. When you talk, I'll stop smoking this weed, I'll stop talking, I'll stop drinking, especially because the worst of all for me is socialized. The one we do in front of everyone, alcohol is terrible. And every time a person decides to stop drinking, she is not deciding on her alone. It is also because of the people she is making her suffer that she is destroying. It is so beautiful for you to see a person react for the love they have to others. So, this is a beautiful thing to see. Now evil, it enters the context of our life from our choices. I will choose the evil. He exists. He is concrete. He is real. But he only tries to seduce. I will join and I will represent it in my life. Lutz wants much more than knowing his origin, right? It is discovering a way of neutralizing. I don't know how evil came up in the world. I don't have that answer. I have the suggestion that theology, that the parable gives me. But I have no ready answer to it. So what do I do? If I don't know how evil came into the world, I can prevent him from entering me. This is right. And it is possible. Only those who have read Father Fábio de Melo's books know how transformative they are. Make us reflect and change the way we see life. If you haven't read it yet, don't miss this big chance. Learn more by clicking on the description links. First, the past is a reality. It is this time that there is no longer, that you have no way to go back to it. You have no way to rescue it, but somehow is alive within us. First, there is no magic formula for forgetting the past. The past, we accommodate it inside us as we understand it. Why can't we forget? Why are things we forget? And why are we things that we don't forget? We don't forget what was traumatic. Either traumatized because it was too good, or traumatized because it was too bad. The indifferent, the middle ground, we don't remember. From time to time that someone speaks, it is true. We lived it. We went there. We saw. We found it. These are the brands. There are facts that mark us, and there are facts that do not mark us. What was brand? Either because it was too good, or because it was so bad. For example, if you lived a wonderful job in the past, you were very well paid. You climbed several posts. You were promoted, had a super positive experience of the past in relation to that job. Suddenly, you lost your job. You get stuck in the good time it was. It hinders you the same as getting stuck in bad time. This is not the same as the one who has experienced an extremely negative experience of the past. I worked in a very suffered place. I was very devalued. I was very mistreated. I had no recognition. These are two brands that will stay for life. Then the one who worked in a very bad place got a great job. But every time he's there in that positive experience, he risks being brooding over what wasn't good there at that time. See? Say? One was positively marked, and the other was negatively marked. The two suffer the evils of the past. One because it was very good, and another because it was so bad. Because when they attach themselves to what is once, what happened, it was good. He forgets to find out what can be good today. He forgets to strive for what is not so good, but it can be good today. And the one who holds to what was bad is the risk of not knowing how to taste what is being good today. Do you reconcile with the past? It is you to allow life to be more intense today. Why, where do you put the strength of your life? What has it been or what is being? If you put your attention on everything that was too good in the past, you risk becoming a museum. You just remember what you have done. I've been that, I've done that already, right? You are no longer being. Why, you are combining your life in the past. Past that does not pass, bitter. Or because you wanted to live it again and can't, it gets embittered. Time was so good, it was so special to be there. But it's over. It was good, it was special. But it's over. It was too bad. I couldn't stand that. But it's over. Everything is over. What was good and what was bad is over. How will you cease the power of this past? Opening your eyes to what is being the present. And living well, the gift also consists of opening some little door for this future. Because you live in the gift well, you are preparing your future well. Therefore, my people, often unhappiness occurs in our lives because we hold on to the experiences that are no longer ours, which can no longer be modified. And everything that cannot be modified becomes a bitterness within us. So if you are very used to brooding out what you once went, to remember too much, wow, that was too good, that was it. Watch out, because you risk not being in the attention of what is happening today, without having each part, in every fragment of life that is around you today. Soon, light, right, say goodbye to this moment, so never to land in your hands. Ready, it will never land on your hands this moment now. Or you live well this time, this moment, or soon you will be bitter, because you have not lived well. Father Fábio, if God is ubiquitous, he owns good and evil. Dear, being an ubiquitous God has nothing to do with the origin of evil, because omnipresent is one who is everywhere. The omnipresence of God. So God is here. God is there with you. He is present everywhere. The question of the origin of evil is a much discussed theological issue. We have a very beautiful reflection. Christian Catholic theology has a very beautiful reflection on the origin of evil. But most important in all this, because I know that what bothers us most is thinking if God is good, who makes all this bad happen? We have an interesting explanation that is the origin of sin. Sin as a door that opened so that evil could have power over us. Then you have all the metaphor of paradise that was lost. The apple that was food, the expulsion of Adam and Eve from that space that God had placed so that they could live in harmony. We have this parable as an indication that evil came just as we broke the covenant with God, when Adam and Eve wanted to be others, wanted to be gods, forgot the human condition, forgot who they were, and they wanted to be who they couldn't be. And from the moment we want what is not right, we begin to establish injustice. Have you observed this? How many bad things happen precisely because we do not know how to recognize that it is no tour? Why is the theft an evil in itself? Stealing something from someone is evil. This is bad because I do not respect the space that is delimited. It's from the other, but I want it to myself. The same thing when you have the presence of evil. Life, when I go and I kill someone, is not respect for what the other is. Violence originates from this. Now, what makes me bad? It is my adherence to this project. It is very dangerous for us to judge all the blame on the devil. It's the devil who wants that. It is the devil that makes it happen. Yeah. But if the devil wants, we do it for it. Have you ever seen the devil walking around the streets? No. I've seen diabolical people walking down the street. The devil anyway. No. There is no problem here. We don't have a devil here. The other day a woman asked me, "Priest? Do you do exorcism?" I stopped to think. No. Then I thought, but immediately I said, no. There's a way for you to do exorcism. You love. Each time you love, my friend, the devil has no time with you. The devil does not support a person who loves. The devil will be able to do absolutely nothing within the life of a person seeking goodness. Good. Partnership with the truth. The devil begins to have a time and voice in our life is when we open the doors for him to sit, for him to have a coffee at our house, for him to have a whiskey with us. Then you will open the doors. Oh, come smoking a weed. Then the devil sit and smoke weed. The opposite is, I am adhering to what is a process of breaking inside me. This week I was there in Ipamiram. I found myself with a boy. I think it's Paul, his name. During the show, I saw that he was all quiet like that. But I had already seen him like this because he was very close. And at the end of the show, he was already on the business there, waving and singing. And then he asked, I understood that he wanted to talk to me. And then he went there in the dressing room to give me a hug. And he said to me like that, "Father, I'm in the fight to break free from drugs." And then I hugged him and said to him, "My friend, freeing from drugs is the same as you will love yourself again. Because the drug is nothing but unloving. I'm going to throw into myself a toxin that will hurt me. I'm going to throw into myself a substance that will numb me, that will make me aware of things, that will get away from the people I love. Who will take me? Who will take the peace of the people I love?" The drug addict does not see the suffering that it causes. The mother who doesn't sleep, who, while she doesn't see her son coming home, worse, she likes to see him come anyway. Don't sleep because you are thinking, "Oh my God. Where is my son now? So, cutting with drugs is that you reestablish the love bonds you have. When you talk, I'm going to stop smoking this weed. I'll stop talking. I'll stop drinking. Especially because the worst of all the addictions for me is socialized. The one we do in front of everyone. Alcohol is terrible, and every time a person decides to stop drinking, she is not deciding on her alone. It is also because of the people she is making her suffer that she is destroying. It is so beautiful for you to see a person react for the love they have to others. So, now evil comes into the context of our lives from our choices. I will choose the evil. He exists. He is concrete. He is real. But he only tries to seduce. I will join, and I will represent it in my life. This is much more than knowing his origin, is to find out a way of neutralizing. I don't know how evil came up in the world. I don't have that answer. I have the suggestion, that theology, that the parable gives me, but I have no ready answer to it. So what I make, if I don't know how evil came into the world, I can prevent him from entering me. This is right, and it is possible. Only those who have read Father Fábio de Melo's books know how transformative they are. Make us reflect and change the way we see life. If you haven't read it yet, don't miss this big chance. Learn more by clicking on the description links. Father Fábio, if God is ubiquitous, he owns good and evil. Honey, being an ubiquitous God has nothing to do with the origin of evil, because omnipresent is the one who is everywhere, the omnipresence of God. So God is here. God is there with you. He is present everywhere. The question of the origin of evil is a much discussed theological issue. We have a very beautiful reflection, Christian. Catholic theology has a very beautiful reflection on the origin of evil. But most importantly in all this, because I know that what bothers us most is thinking, if God is good, how can bad things happen? Who makes all this bad happen? We have an interesting explanation that is the origin of sin. Sin as a door that opened so that evil could have power over us. Then you have all the metaphor of paradise that was lost, the apple that was food, the expulsion of Adam and Eve from that space that God had put, so that they could live in harmony. We have this parable as an indication that evil came just as we broke the covenant with God. When Adam and Eve wanted to be others, wanted to be gods, forgot the human condition, forgot who they were, and they wanted to be who they couldn't be. And from the moment we want what is not right, we begin to establish injustice. Have you observed this? How many bad things happen precisely because we don't know how to recognize that it's not ours? Why is the theft an evil in itself? Stealing something from someone is evil. This is bad because I do not respect the space that is delimited. It's from the other, but I want it to myself. The same thing when you have the presence of evil. Life, when I go and I kill someone, is not respect for what the other is. Violence originates from this. Now, what makes me bad? It is my adherence to this project. It is very dangerous for us to judge all the blame on the devil. It's the devil who wants that. It is the devil that makes it happen. Yeah. But if the devil wants, we do it for it. Have you ever seen the devil walking around the streets? No. I've seen diabolical people wail. According to what you truly believe in and identify in this world as tenderness, the word may be hard, but the music that surrounds the word does not need to be, because then you will have a power to convince much greater than if you were using the hard word with a cover, an armor. No, we are all afraid of armor because she reminds us of war. And sometimes Instead of putting melody music in our word, we put armor. And then we scare the one who listens to us. We hurt the one who listened to us. The important thing is not to accumulate many years of life, but to acquire wisdom at all times that the years offer us. After all, aging is mandatory. Maturing is optional. It's a reality, right? Because we all get older, there is no way. We were kidding here that we are younger, but everyone is aging. Those friends who were once lucid suddenly begin to change their dates, begin to change the names, begin to repeat the same stories. It is life. The aging process is natural to the human condition. There are some people who face this as a loss. There are others who discover that it is a gain, and that can be a gain. This week we were talking that it is very important in life we develop habits, even in youth, that combine with old age. Do you know why? Because if we are just used to the things of youth, if we do not start creating habits that are later of age, maturity, we will not have something to do later. Being too young is a problem. You need to start getting some habits that can help in your old age process. Reading, for example. When we find out in adolescence, childhood, adolescence, youth, when we learn to cultivate the reading habit, you are already ensuring a good quality time for your old age. Why, what is my great complaint? Many times I don't have time to read everything I want. It's not like this. After you are already older, my friend, that you have already naturally diminished your number of commitments, that life has been getting lighter for you, is the time to read everything you could not read throughout your lifetime. Then, occupying the head, the heart is very distracted. When the head is well busy, the heart is paid. Now, if we do not have the habit of reading, it is natural that then we will have a great difficulty to be for nothing. You will find that time is too fulfilled for you to fill with everything you want. Then aging requires art. Good youth habits will help your old age be more qualified. Why do we insist so much on physical exercise, physical activity, good diet in youth? Because the muscle construction of youth will make you a more flexible old man without so much back pain. Why? Because the muscles are well strengthened, it has a well-strengthened lower back, so that its spine does not suffer so much the age of maturity. So what we take care of today reverberates in life. That's why living, we need to go taking the good habits of life so that when we are in this period of slower, less hurry, we don't despair. So I, Father Fábio, today I'm building the old man I liked, that I hope to be a worthy old man. But I'm building my old age. In my physical structure, I am helping to grow older, to have more quality. In food, in my habits, right? Being a man of prayer, being a man adept at reading, of reflection. This we get sharper, my people. I always say, I started writing early, but if today I could go back in time, I think I would publish my first book at age 50. Why? Because after 50, your lucidity to look at the past is much greater. We regret less, right? Then I said, because you will be more centered. It is the moment of your life when you have the most instruments to analyze. More maturity, more wisdom. That is, if we live well, if we build well, the future moment, in the present moment. Maturing is much more than aging. You can have an immature 80-year-old man. Why is maturing? Maturation is not the accumulation of time in us, but it is the accumulation of experiences. When we do not discover wisdom in the process of life, we will be a bland person, without speech, without much to say, without much to add. I have a lot of pleasure in being old. Why? Because I've always been like this since childhood. My mother always says that. From a young age, I like to talk to older people, because it is very interesting for you to hear life relived. It's very concrete literature, right? A person telling his story, telling his life, telling his past as it was, as he was, as he was modified. This is very enriching. And upon hearing the old ones, I see it right. I realize how determining it is for the quality of old age. Because it's good for you to talk to a wise person, isn't it? We all need to find wise people for life. Because the wise is one who has a little more intelligence. Intelligence to solve a mathematical problem. Many we have, but often a matter of life, looking at it in depth. Looking at it with fertility. Not always intelligence is enough. Then we can distinguish the one who is very intelligent and the one who is wise. Because advising a person requires a lot of wisdom. Is not true? Giving advice and interfering with the other's life requires a great wisdom. But where does it live? The blessed wisdom. She lives on the opportunity we have to build a life within us. She lives in this opportunity to find along the way what she teaches us. The story I have contact, which comes to live inside me. That life I found, which moved so much with me, came to live inside me. This is a accumulated wisdom, right? When you do not go through any way through life, nor for people's lives. For the history of people, you start collecting the examples lived, the events, you extract that. As if we took a sugar cane and made all the broth out, because we know that sugar is there. It is as if we could then need this life that we live so we can extract up to the last drop of flavor. Then we keep it inside us. We get wiser as we have an open heart to live. To be able to bring the learning that this life has, and we accommodate it within us, and you use it. As you live, avoiding the same mistakes as the past, so my father made such a mistake, so today I will change my attitude. The text is called Silences and Words. In the word, communication takes place. In silence, it is complete, for understanding is materialized from silence. The power in both and wisdom is to use these two times of communication well. Within a composition, the breaks are as important as the sounds. A good orchestra is one that performs well the dynamics of the breaks and continuities. Even in the silence of the break, the song continues. Do not say things in a hurry. It is better for a certain silence than a wrong word. Minas Gerais, as patience is obscure, calm if they tease you, expects each one to be done and consumed with their power of word and their power of silence. The poet's recommendation is wise and pertinent. A poem is just good. It is only good if matured in the sowing of silence. Before becoming a word, poetry is the silent life experience. Artists know this, and we need to learn. It takes time to what you need to say. Get rid of the hurry of wanting to give orders to the world. It is easier for us to repent of a said word than from silence. Wrong word at the wrong time can become wound in the one who heard. Also in the one who said. There are many moments in life when silence is the wisest answer we can give to someone. In a hurry to speak, we risk saying what we do not want, and in the face of all that has been said, we do not always have the possibility of fixing the error. Wrong words often hurt for the rest of their lives. Already the right silences, they have the gift of fixing. Therefore, it prepares well the word that will be said. Hurry words do not match wisely. The sages always prefer silence, and in its few words, an inexhaustible source of wisdom is condensed. Do not fall into the temptation of banal speech, the simple explanation. 1. The depth of speech that asks us to calm down. Calm down to say, calm to hear. An interesting rule for us to have a good understanding of a text is precisely calm. Only in this way can we enter the meanings that the author wanted to suggest, and consequently, dive into the mystery of his text. Hurry readings can foster misconceptions, and misconception is a kind of disagreement between those who write and the one who reads. It is a form of obstacle to understanding language. A daily verbal communication, it always happens. We say, and are not understood. Given the impasse, two realities are possible. Either someone said in a hurry, or someone listened without attention. Saying and listening requires silence. Just say well the one who thought before what he would say, and hear better the one who's silent to listen. The rule is simple but demanding. So today, in this time of many words, we want the beauty of the few silences. I know that we are often victims of the damn words. It is not a few times when damn words come to our ears. One word can be damn because of the content she has, or because of the form. Today I was reading a text, coincidentally, talking about the music of words. And the writer was saying that for each word there is a different song that we can put in it. So you can say something very tough to someone, but you put a song that does well in the ear of those who listen. So the person listens to that hard word, but with a beautiful song. Maybe that's what Jesus knew how to do all the time. Jesus said very hard things, but the music of Jesus' words was extremely seductive, because he knew very well that it was no use saying things without musicality. It's no use that we say things with braveness. No, we will be much better understood if we look for a soft song to put the word hard. You experience this in your life every day. When you need to say something very serious to your children, and sometimes you don't even know where to start because you are afraid of the content you will say. The content is hard, it is required, and our children are not very used to being required. They have entered this mystique of today's world, this trend of today's world that everything has to be very simple. Everything has to be very easy and fast. And educating children often requires a hard, demanding speech. Then you will find out with Jesus that it is possible to say hard things with attractive musicalities. This is what made people stop to pay attention to what Jesus had to propose. The kingdom of God that Jesus proposed was not easy. It was not simple. It is hard work to build the kingdom, but he built in such a tender way that people forgot the harshness of the word and attached themselves to the music that involved that word. That's why the segment happened with such intensity. So many people, because of the music that was lining everything he said. My people, often what we do wrong is not what we say, but it's as we say. It is the music we put in the sentence. It may be that today you wounded someone with what you said. It may be that today you have been injured by someone with what you said. And maybe you didn't go wrong in what you said. You were right about what you said. You were right in claiming what you claim it or tell that truth, you said. But you may not have chosen the best way to say. Maybe you got lost in hurry, in anger. It's strange, but in life, we lose the reason when we get angry. In life, we lose tenderness when we get annoyed, because anger has the power to remove us wisdom. And when we are out of wisdom, we usually don't know how to put music in the words. We all like music. We all like to hear what came in one day inside our hearts, did us good. The word came with music. She didn't come alone. The interpreter put such an intention so beautiful that you really believed what he was singing. A well-interpreted song, it expresses all of the power of truth that the composer wanted to give. But he who interprets, the good interpreter, he makes the song even more true than when he was born from the composer's hand, because he knew how to put the intention of the voice. When I taught at the Faculty of Theology there at Peonian College, I always told my students that they would be priests one day. Be careful not to have a tone of voice, a way of talking like everyone else. Seek the melody of words. Seek your way of saying, and that your way of saying evangelical truths, that your way of teaching the gospel, the word of Jesus, the good things of life, are I personally have lived many moments when I thought I couldn't stand it. First, because I am dramatic. I'm naturally dramatic. I have, as Adelia Prado says, a huge ability to dramatize the slightest events. It's a feature of mine that I learned to deal with everyday life. I have that tendency to think there is no solution. But no. So, tame this way of being, I learned that I need to welcome what life is offering me. And I was very surprised in situations that I thought they were working against me. And suddenly I found out that from them, I would have the opportunity to have access to my heart in a very new way. I personally think it is very positive for us to live with people, for example, who help us have new access to our hearts. When we are very addicted to the way others see us, we risk seeing an addicted way because the other always sees us the same way. And this sometimes paralyzes our ability to see us in a way different. You may be addicted to the way you see yourself because others around you always see you the same way, and sometimes a change you suddenly discover a new person who has thrown a new look at you, who asked you a question fundamental that made you think of what you had not thought about you. It is so interesting when we dug in the land of the heart and found that there are news that were seen there for another person who was out, or person who was out. How precious these people are in our lives, because they see what we had not yet seen. As Jesus did in the lives of many people, he saw what those people had not yet seen, found within them a wealth they did not yet know how to offer themselves. And because they still didn't know to offer themselves, they were deprived of being able to offer it to others. So don't be afraid of your difficulties. Don't be afraid of your losses. Don't be afraid of your conflicts. All that at first may seem contrary to you. It can be a happy opportunity. Good access to what you are not yet know about you. A force that is still hidden, and that will surface as you allow conflicting reality itself to help you. Motivate you. To seek what. But sometimes we find that we have with the very movement of life, I say again, through a loss, a change, which at first seems to scare us. But then it is absolutely fruitful, because it has opened our mind, our chart, our way of feeling and thinking, the being we are, and the being we can still be. Allow today's difficulty, the suffering of now, the tear of this moment, lead you to your deepest truth, where your values are, where your qualities are, and that you may be forgotten them. Where they are the qualities of suddenly, by your way of living. For your way of living, for your way of building your life, your routine, you ended up forgetting. Nothing can impoverish us more than we have riches, and not having these riches available. Nothing can impoverish us more than being owners of great riches we are unaware of. Inside the heart, there are so many riches, there are so many precious stones, but you need to seek them. It is not enough to have them, you need to use them. Is it not enough to have riches? You need to know how to instrumentalize all this? Sometimes, my people, we just need to wake up. And sometimes this waking up is closely linked to a change, a discomfort we need to face. I like to say that birth does not happen only once in my life. I came to the world because I was expelled by my mother's womb, who, moved by a biological wisdom, put me out. He arrives. It's been time to be here, and I'm glad I was expelled. And then I had to face many other expulsions of the womb of life. When I thought I had already found my place, the contractions arrived, the events expelled me, and I had to look for a new way of being fatto. And how does it enrich us? When you realize that life is casting out of you from that reality, that situation, before you regret, think about the possibility that these contractions, this expulsion, will give you a new way of being you. And this is absolutely wonderful, to have the opportunity to be you, in one way new. This is how to be born. This is how to be born. This is how to be reborn. You need to have the first awareness that your first responsibility is not, because you can only take care of the other after being careful of yourself. One relationship that merely starts in the other cannot. This is sick. But that's a selfishness, is the right step of the relationship. I can only take a step toward the other after I have conquered my territories. True charity only exists when I am free to love. When
It's been a pleasure having you with us on Path of Faith. We value your feedback, so please share your thoughts in the comments, give us a thumbs up, share this video with others, and hit the subscribe button to stay connected with us.